Whew. Get out your blankets, get out your popcorn, get out your whatever you need to get out. Because, baby, when I tell you we got something to talk about today, we got something to talk about today. This episode came requested from one of my favorite subscribers, Mr. Marlon Bellamy, as usual, because the rest of y'all act so scurry. And then some of y'all want to remain anonymous in the ones that y'all have requested. And that's okay. I don't mind. However, if you remember from the last episode, I did say we were going to pick. I was going to pick a page out of We Over Me and read a page. I actually found 2 to 3 different pages I want to kind of read. I do read kind of slow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read one section from the introduction that I wanted to read, and then at the end of the show, if you stay all the way through, you'll get to hear the other part of the book that I wanted to read, which is technically chapter 1, because I did say read chapter 1. I didn't, and you might have seen it on the video, I didn't realize that the introduction was 1 through 14, and chapter 1 was 15 through something else. I forget exactly. But doesn't stop the fact that we're still going to go ahead and read a small section of the introduction. I know I just jumped right into it. And yes, I have a bonnet on. This is a bonnet day. We're chilling. We're not, doing anything crazy today. We're chilling. So, the part from the introduction I wanted to read was on page 3. It talks about serving each other. So it says, ultimately in a relationship, you have to ask yourself, am I willing and in a position to serve the other person? Too many people go into a relationship thinking about what they can gain from another person. Women have their list of things that they are looking for in a man, or men will be seeking what a man can bring to the table. People have unrealistic ideas and expectations of what they need a person to have. Meanwhile, they aren't bringing a fraction of that. If you're trying to get with someone who makes 6 figures, is handsome or beautiful, and is a go getter, but you're not any of those things, how do you expect a healthy, equal relationship to work? Mm, mm, mm. TV's with Tay. TV with Tay. Hey, it's TV's with Tay. It's TV with Tay. Hey, it's TV shows with Tay. It's TV shows with Tay. It's TV shows with Tay. Hey, it's TV shows with Tay. Pow, pow, it's TV shows with Tay. And I wanted to read that, and it's funny because, just a heads up, primarily I'm going to discuss this book on my other podcast channel, which old ass podcast, which is me and my co-host Pack. Um, I just wanted to read that portion because I did tell you guys that I would read that portion. When we get to successful failures, and occasionally I may pop in and read a page from here as well to you guys, but primarily if you want to hear bits and pieces of the book or my take on the book or anything of that nature, please go follow and subscribe to With Your Old Ass Podcast on Instagram and also on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and TikTok. You can find us everywhere, also on Facebook if I didn't say that already. But that's where I'm primarily going to read more of this book at. Like I said, at the end of this episode, I will read the other pages that I wanted to read to you guys. Um, I don't know, I might still do a little book club thing. Like I said, I may go get the family business and we may recap and watch and talk about that whole show from season 1 to season 6. Um, and we may read the book to compare it for comparison. But on this channel, we are going to focus more on TV shows and movies like normal, and also the Black History things. I decided I'm not splitting in the Black History from this channel. It's going to stay on this channel. I got a lot of other accounts that I'm dealing with at the time, so I'm not about to do all that. But primarily on this channel, if it's not a book related to a movie or a book related to a TV show, we're not going to read it. If you want to hear these types of books and my take on these types of books, go to With Your Old Ass Podcast. Okay. But I just wanted to read that portion to you. Let's get into the real nitty gritty of the show, shall we? Um, as I mentioned, the episode was requested by Mr. Marlon Bellamy. We're talking about season 1, episode 26. Catman Comes Back. This aired on May 11th of 1995. I literally was a month and 2 days old when this came out. Mind blowing. Now here's what I thought was hilarious. They said special guest Al Green on Hulu. Special guest was not Al Green. It was Montel Williams. What are y'all talking about? I mean, not Williams. Wait, is his name? Montel Jordan. I got his name wrong too. I didn't mean to say Williams. Every time I think of Montel, I think of Montel Williams. But no, not Montel Williams. It was Montel Jordan is who it was. Sorry. I gotta fix my notes. I don't know what made me write down. No, that was my notes that did that. That wasn't me. I know what I'm saying. I know. That was my notes. I don't know why my phone automatically assumed Williams instead of Jordan. But anyway, that special guest was not Al Green. That was Montel Jordan. You know, this is how we do it. You might be seeing a little clip or a little video of him. But Hulu, please fix that description because that is not Al Green. Al Green was nowhere near present in that episode. That was Montel Jordan. Mr. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. I'm gonna need y'all to learn y'all black people because that felt very disrespectful that y'all put Al Green and y'all can't say you did it because I took a picture of it and it's forever branded on here. That y'all put Al Green. Also, special guest star for this episode was also Ice-T. So a quick little rundown. So you got a Detective JC, a Detective Eddie, Detective JC Williams and Detective Eddie Torres. They're both partners. And they fight cases. Well, this episode was kind of focused around a guy named Danny Upps who was played by Ice-T. Danny Upps had got arrested because of Detective JC and Eddie, who got him locked up. He ended up getting released on bail while they were fighting his case. Well, while he got released on bail, he had some white guy with locks, steal a truck filled with albuterol, if I'm not mistaken. And when he had him steal this truck, they were supposed to pay him for what he stole off the truck, but instead of him going to go test and make sure the stuff that he stole off the truck was good to go, he sent his little brother Ridley, who is also his attorney, ironically. But sent his little brother Ridley to go check it out. And when he went to go check it out, unfortunately, Ridley and the white guy both were shot. Only the white guy survived, and Ridley died. And Ridley, like I said, is Danny Up's brother. So Danny Up has a bodyguard, or right hand man, whatever you call him, called Big Dog. Big Dog was supposed to make sure that Danny Up's brother was going to make it out of there alive and be safe. However, he didn't do his job. Instead, when they started shooting, he ran and left. So he tells a lie to Danny Up, like, hey, Big Dog's like, hey, Danny Up, like, listen, bro, Torres and JC came through guns blazing and they killed your brother. It was an ambush. It was a setup, blah, 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 blah. Giving him this whole spiel that's a lie. So Danny Up now, he's out for revenge. Now, JC is getting married to Sandy, his girlfriend, who's also the soon-to-be mother of his child. Well, Danny Up feels like that they killed his brother out of vengeance, so he decides to take vengeance out on JC because JC is the one who ultimately shot and killed his brother. Now, mind you, this wasn't an ambush. This wasn't a setup. It was more so they got a lead to where the stolen merchandise was at, and they had no idea that Ridley was, or even Big Dog was Danny Up's people. JC and Eddie didn't know. They were just doing their job, trying to retrieve the stolen merchandise. Well, when they got there, the white guy shot first. Honestly, had the white guy not even shot, JC and Eddie probably wouldn't even have shot at anyone. But the white guy shot, so they shot back. So then Ridley, which is Danny Up's brother, he shot back. They shot, he shot. So ultimately, it was the white guy's fault that Danny Up's brother died, and that's really what Big Dog should have said. He should have said the white guy started shooting, so they shot back and ended up killing your brother. But of course, when you're trying to get the heat off of you, you're not going to tell the truth of what really happened. You're just going to try to make it look like you didn't have nothing to do with it, even though you did. So basically, Danny Up decides, I'm getting revenge. I'm about to go cap somebody. So he finds out JC is the one who actually pulled the trigger and killed his brother. So now he wants to take revenge out on JC. He originally was going to try to kill JC himself instead of doing what he ended up doing. But instead, he ended up killing Sandy and their unborn child. And I don't think he was originally planning on taking out Sandy, but because she announced herself as JC's fiance, he was like, that made it even better, and shot her in her back. So now JC and Eddie both know that Danny Up did it, but their Lieutenant Cooper or Copper, one of the two, I think it's Cooper, Lieutenant Cooper, she like, we don't have no proof that he really did it. So at this point, it's hearsay. But I believe you. Like she don't believe that they're not telling the truth. She, whatever. So now it's this whole cat and mouse game. JC looking for Eddie, and not Eddie, I'm sorry. JC and Eddie looking for Danny Up, but you know how this story goes. Basically, bad guy eventually gets caught, but bad guy spends too much time yapping instead of just killing said person. In the end, Danny Up and JC get to go face to face against each other. But JC, even though he shoots Danny Up gets the upper hand on him, shoots him in his leg, and also stabs him in the stomach with a beer bottle. Now, what Danny Up said to JC was true. He said, you couldn't leave well enough alone, and it cost you. And he didn't say this directly, but basically, you couldn't leave well enough alone, trying to be the good cop, and it cost you and it cost me, which is true. Because honestly, had JC and them, I mean, yes, they have a job to do. However, y'all wanted this case because y'all wanted Danny so bad that y'all wanted this carjacking case. Now, granted, they didn't know that Danny Up had anything to do with it right off. It wasn't until they started connecting the pieces to the puzzle. But here's the problem that ensued with this. When Danny Up sent his brother to go check out the merchandise, I get that Detective JC and Eddie were the ones working the case. However, I feel like that they should have called for backup and handled that differently, because all of this wouldn't have happened had JC not had to kill Danny Up's brother. Like, you lost your fiance and your unborn child because you were too busy trying to pin the tail on the donkey, so to speak. And I don't know, as a detective, you guys didn't know that Ridley was Danny Up's brother. How are y'all detectives and don't know that? Because that threw me off. Because how do you not know who you killed? You didn't think to check and see? Like, if it was that easy for everybody else to eventually find out that that's who that was, why didn't y'all do your research and figure out who Ridley was related to? Because common sense should have told you. If you think it's Danny Up that stole the truck, why wouldn't you think to check and see who Ridley was? I would have instantly thought, let me check and see who Ridley was. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't have no good survival skills, if you ask me, because how the hell y'all didn't recognize that red Mustang? Even I would have picked up on that red Mustang being everywhere at that point. Like, when y'all pulled up, and I mean, when y'all pulled up and that red Mustang pulled up, y'all seen what they got out of. So why is it when y'all left from the hospital, y'all didn't peek game and see that red Mustang sitting there? To me, they were lackluster. From just that episode alone, they were lackluster detectives for so many reasons. Y'all dropped the ball on visual cues. If you're a detective and you got visual cues, I get that there's red Mustangs everywhere. But as a detective, you should be able to be like, wait a minute. I just seen a red Mustang pull up to the facility where we just came from. And then two, how did he get his red Mustang back that fast? to the point where y'all didn't realize, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all didn't pay attention to nothing. Because had y'all paid attention to that red Mustang, that could have prevented Daniel from even finding out that his brother died that way. Then on top of that, y'all could have found out that they were related. But y'all were lackluster in y'all detective work because you're traumatized by the fact that you shot and killed somebody. I get it. They say killing your first person does stun you. It does do something to you. It's like a nightmare that you have to relive over and over again. But honestly, I don't understand how y'all was so lackluster in that part. That really pissed me off that they didn't see that red Mustang just sitting there. That could have helped solve some of the case instantly. Now here's the thing about the truck. The truck was worth $500,000. It was insured up to $500,000, should I say. So that's why Detective JC and Eddie even got put on the case to begin with. Is because at that point it became a high crime case. But they connected Danny to it instantly because they had a vengeance against Danny. And honestly, if they would have just worked the case like normal detectives and let the truth unfold itself, they probably wouldn't put JC's fiance's life at risk. But another thing for me, though, is being in the business that you're in, you should have more common sense about things. So, for example, if you didn't order any flowers for your fiance and she didn't order any flowers, that's a red flag. Because who would randomly send y'all flowers and you don't think nothing of it? And then on top of that, as the man of the house, there's no way in hell I would have let my girl go answer the door for some flowers that I didn't deliver for her. Especially knowing that you really didn't have no flowers. It'd be different if he had flowers delivered to her as a surprise, and that's why he let her open the door. But you knew for a fact you didn't have any flowers delivered. So why would I let her open the door knowing that some maniac may have a vengeance out for me because we locked him up? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Maybe it's because I just think differently. But if I know I didn't have no flowers getting delivered, my girl's not answering the door. Now, me as a woman, right? Of course, I don't have a girl, I have a husband. But me as a woman, if my man just told me he didn't order no flowers and I didn't order no flowers, you're not getting up here and trying to know where those flowers came from. Who sent me those flowers? Matter of fact, leave them with the doorman. Oh, if we don't have a doorman, leave them outside my door and I'll pick them up. That's what I would have said. You can leave the flowers outside and I'll get them. But me, I stay ready. I'm gonna just put it that way. I stay ready. And then on top of that, I don't even know you. So after I took the flowers, I would be like, do I need to pay for them or something? If he would have said no, I'd be like, well, have a great day and close the door. You ain't getting no tip from me. Some strange man. Then you turned your back on him. You turned your back on a stranger. One thing I was taught to never do, is turn my back on a stranger. Especially while they're in my house. If anything, I'm like, can you wait outside the door while I go get you a tip? That's what I would have told him. He wouldn't even been able to walk in my house. That's the crazy part. Too trusting. In a way, JC and Sandy both played a part in her getting killed because she let this man in her house. First of all, she unlocked the door. Why would you unlock the door? And then, like I said, JC, why wouldn't you be... First of all, I would have been... I don't care if she asked me to get the phone or not. I'm like, no, you get the phone. Let me get these flowers. That's what I would have did. Let me get the flowers. You get the phone. Just, I don't know. Danny decides to... Sorry about your agent. Danny decides to go to the police station because he trying to play victim still. He quote unquote wants answers to who killed his brother. He already know who killed his brother because he killed the fiance of who killed his brother. But he playing this little game, right? And to me, Eddie should have never even... Sorry, something's got my nose itching. Eddie should have never let Danny know that they knew that he did what he did, because that spooked Danny. Soon as you let Danny know that y'all know that he's the one who did it, that spooked him. That's what he came there for. He came there to see what y'all knew. And had Eddie never even mentioned that they knew that he did what he did, and just basically let him know, like, okay, we'll look into, or not even look into, just let him know, like, unfortunately, I'm like, first of all, who's your brother? That's what I would have played. For a detective, they know how to play the game. My first question would have been, who is your brother? And then he would have been like, Ridley. Like, Ridley what? And he would have gave him the last name. Like, oh, okay. Unfortunately, your brother was caught in a sting operation where there was stolen merchandise. When we went to go to retrieve the stolen merchandise, two gentlemen shot fires at officers, and they both were both shot. Unfortunately, your brother just so happened to bleed out and died. That's what I would have said. And I would ask him, is there any further information that you're looking for, that you're needing? Unfortunately, that is the event that took place, so it's open and closed. Point blank. You never give away your hand. And as detectives, they both let their emotions get the best of them, because Eddie should have never let Danny know that they had the upper hand on him. What did you do that for? You caused the chaos, because shortly after that, Danny realized he had to kill his right-hand man, Big Dog, because y'all was chasing Big Dog around. Instead of letting Big Dog slip up and arresting him that way, y'all was doing too much. Y'all don't know how to, like, you gotta learn how to play the game with criminals. Y'all so eager and so hot-headed to just nail somebody that you're not using your brain. You just go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? Lieutenant Cooper did tell Danny, not Danny, I'm sorry, but JC some good shit though. Because after the funeral, because Danny and JC both had funerals for their loved ones. After the funeral, she pretty much let JC know, like, listen, I lost a child. I know that pain. And honestly, the pain will eventually start to diminish, but you'll never really be able to forget it. But you'll be able to start moving on. But what you have to focus on now is that you've already lost so much. There's no need to lose even more. AKA, don't get yourself killed trying to go after this man, regardless of the fact that you know that what he did. Now, here's the thing. People got to understand. When you're in that type of state, all you see is red. You don't see logic. You don't seek understanding. You are in internal fire at that point. He lost his fiance and his unborn child. He didn't give a damn about what nobody else had to say. He wanted that man for himself. Point blank in a period. Another thing that people got to stop doing, this is just not even just a TV show, but because, I mean, Eddie did say to JC, but just in general, stop asking people, are they okay after losing a loved one or just losing something in general? Obviously, they're not okay. Start asking, how can I help you? Stop asking, are you okay? That irritates the hell out of me. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Fool. How about asking me, how can I help you? What do you need? Is there anything I can get you? Don't ask me if I'm okay. After you just seen what trauma I just experienced. That's the dumbest shit to ask somebody. Just foolishness. Oh, one more funny thing that happened. So Malik Yoba's stunt double. Malik Yoba plays JC, by the way. Malik Yoba's stunt double. His face, I don't know if they didn't think to do a quick cut to him jumping over the fence, but his stunt double didn't look nothing like him. Back in the day, these stunt doubles didn't even look remotely close to the character they were supposed to be mimicking. Like, he just had a milk dud head, that's all. But before we wrap up today's episode and do my little reading that I wanted to do, I wanted to bring this up, and I might get some slack for it. Malik Yoba can act now, but when I watched his earlier stuff, I'm sorry, compared to his later stuff, his acting definitely grew, because I used to always see him as a stale actor, but now that I'm older, he's more of a cornball actor. He's a corny guy, and I feel like that they just put him in corny guy roles all the time, because even in Why Did I Get Married, his character was a corny guy to me. He was just corny. Mr. Perfect, if you will. And I feel like that's the same role they always want to put this guy in, is this cornball role. So I would love, if I ever get the opportunity to work with Malik Yoba, I would love to put him in this asshole, this villainous role that I have. I think he will do. I think this would give him an opportunity to show his range, because I haven't really seen him play bad guys or like non cheesy good guys, if you will. Like I would love to see him play a real deal man, like not this corny cheese ball cutesy type of guy, like a man with a little bit of grit to him, a man with a little bit of pizzazz to him. It's hard to describe, but it's no one can repeat a Denzel, but some of the roles that Denzel plays what I'm referring to. Some of the roles that Will Smith has played, uh, Wesley Snipes, um, Lorenz Tate, uh, hell, what's my guy? Um, my brain just went blank on all the male actors. That was just, it was just it's a bunch of male actors that just runs through my brain. But I would love to see him play these different uh spans of character. I feel like every character he plays is the same character to me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way he acts that makes it seem like they're all the same character. I don't know. But my final take on New York Undercover season 1 episode 26 is that ultimately all of them played a big role in Sandy's death. A lot of the senseless deaths, the senseless almost deaths, the senseless foolishness, and the inability to control their emotions. They all really need to learn how to work on controlling their emotions, because that episode alone just showed they have no ability to control themselves. Sorry about that. I hope that didn't end my recording. I don't think so. Hello? Oh, I was in the middle of shooting an episode. I'm gonna call you back in like 5 minutes. Okay, Mama. I love you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My mom called. But yeah, that's my take on that whole episode, is that they all just didn't know how to control their emotions, and they weren't really using their smarts to take care of common sense nature, you know. Um, but yeah, that was my take on that, on New York um Undercover. Um, I will definitely watch more episodes of that, because now that episode kind of has me intrigued a little bit about the show. I know my mom used to watch the show. I did used to watch it as a little girl with her, but I don't remember the show that well. I kind of understand what the show is about, but I couldn't tell you everything about it. But I definitely do want to watch some more of that show. But as promised, I am actually going to go ahead and read. I don't know if I'm read the full thing or not, because it is kind of like long winded. Um, um, I think what I want to do is read, because this is Khadeen's portion that I seen. There's also a part for Devale. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this part for Devale and this part for Khadeen. So on page 18, it says Devale's hot take. Let's start there. Okay. So page 18, Devale's hot take. Giving your partner grace. Giving yourself and your partner grace with all the changes that happen during the course of a relationship. Don't give up on a relationship because it doesn't look like the ones you see while you're scrolling through your timeline. Feeling excuse me, feeling lost and misunderstood early in a relationship is completely normal. Being deliberate about how you communicate and seeking to understand each other is the only way to truly find common ground. That was Devale's hot take. So for Khadeen, page 19, all those rules you've heard from, all those rules you've heard about from him, her, them, or reading and dating 101. Forget them all. The dance that was supposed to be synchronized, melodious tango has morphed into that TikTok of somebody's aunt trying to do the latest routine. It's offbeat, slew-footed, and out of date. One of the biggest things that I've learned from approaching Devale first was that you can't be afraid to shoot your shot. In full transparency, I didn't march up to him on the first whim. I was shy teenager who would admire him from afar on a few chance meetings. I remember seeing his family in the audience when I was immersing the spring festival at our old elementary school, Bethlehem Baptist Academy, 1 May, Sakar, I forgot how to say this word. I think it's Sakar, whatever, 1993. At the time, Devale had transferred to another school, but his sister still attended Bethlehem Baptist. From the stage, a from the stage, I maneuvered around the spotlight to scan the rows to see if he was in attendance, but no luck. I also happened to work summer school as a student counselor and was placed in his sister's class one summer. I would ask Tori almost every day if Devale would be picking her up from school. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm adding words, but basically picking her up. Poor Tori never knew I was asking just to get a glance of my boo, who didn't know he was my boo just yet. And then there was a handful of times I would go to King's Plaza shopping mall with my cousin and best friend Sophia to see if Devale was behind the Haagen Dazs counter next to the infamous cookie house. I ignored Sophia's nudge to just go and buy some ice cream because I was just too nervous about potentially being in a conversation with him. What would I say? What would he think? At the time, small talk wasn't my forte, and nerves completely got the better of me. It's like I was a ghost follower before ghost following was a thing. One day in particular, I suppose I got cute and talked myself into going for it at his workplace. Because why not? I did all that just for him to be off that day. But I also knew that those chance meetings weren't really just chance because we went to a rival high school and seemed to have at least 2 or 3 degrees of separation. It just had to be the right time because your girl was definitely plotting. When I talk with my single friends who are looking to date, so often there is this rigidness that some have when it comes to pursuing or being pursued. It's almost as if the stars, the moon, constellation, and flavor of the month at the nothing but cake all have to align in order. I'm sorry, it just threw me off that she said nothing but cake in the middle of this whole thing. It's almost as if the stars, moon, constellation, and flavor of the month at nothing but cake all have to align in order to crack a smile or say hello. I'm sorry, the nothing but cake cracked me up the second time in a round. But I just wanted to read that part because it cracked me up. Like I said, if you want to see more of my hot takes on this book, and or if you would love to hear me read pages of this book moving forward, please, 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 please go find with your old ass podcast, and that's what we're gonna be doing. In the meantime, in between time, y'all stay blessed, stay highly favored and loved. I appreciate y'all. Be blessed and stay peaceful. Peace out. I came back to let you know I got a thing for you, and I can't let go.